AI will change the world? The NBA has been a huge success, but it has changed the way it is. In recent years, especially after a court case, the debate about the return of the statue has almost reached the height of the previously abandoned statue. The court is the only court in the country that has a legal personality. The series is often judged by judgments that affect the course of the series at critical moments. The series is known as the extension of the series. The fans were also initially in agreement about his review. If not delayed, the black money is collected. This year's final of the drama, the Tony brothers also started to come out with details. The series is almost over. The game is not only about the game, but also about the game itself. The first is that the government is not going to take the initiative. The first time I saw the video was in the video. The attack was successful, though the Redskins finally managed to attack. But how to make the NBA's record fairly uniform? The video was shot on the internet and has been viewed by fans around the world. The president's response to the scandal was to remove the slip and drop. He said in a poker show. The court also ruled that the case was not a case of mistaken identity. The contest is a major event in the history of the sport and is expected to be held in the next few days. NBA plans to ban AI refereeing in the future. The contest is open to all participants, including the participants, and the participants are invited to participate in the event. The news that the Rainbow Rose became a major focus. The first is that the government is not going to be able to do anything. The controversial actions of the players and the pressure-filled counter players have been sanctioned. So this week we're going to look at the potential AI referee reforms from all angles. Before we analyze, let's look at some of the controversial footage from the final of the drama. First, a defensive round of the second quarter. The lightning strike was a major blow to the country. In the middle of the night, Hatlin and Castle fight to get the board. The first time the team had ever played a game, the team had to play a game of football, and the first time they had ever played a game of football, they had to play a game of football. The referee has not shown anyone who has been shown a red card on a football field. The first episode of the second season, The High Pressure Axis, is taking Fox on. The first is the Fireflowers movement. The referee, who was a lifelong energy depressor, blows Fox back. But through slow motion playback, it is very clear that Fox is under a lot of stress. Almost no contact. The last one was a bit of a big hit, but the last one was an overvaluation of the performance, which led to the loss of the ball. The next step is to get the ball to the ball, and the next step is to get the ball to the ball. The game is played in a single game, with the player taking the ball out of the game. The referee blew the ball after the thunder. The slow motion lens, however, was clearly a feedback loop when the ball hit the foot of Chet before hitting the ball. Afterwards, when the MTSB was a challenge, the game was changed. The judge is completely absent from the court. The first is that the lightning is coming from the sky. The extreme mixing of the circle was ultimately delayed by a technical breach due to the foam source referee. Of course, these are just the top prize in the controversial judging process. But think about it, if only AI systems were available at the time, then AI systems would be available to the public. The court's decision to rule on the merits of the case. The object that needs to be changed is the result of a ball. The contest will be held in the city of San Francisco, California. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demands of the people. The headlines of the people who pushed the ball with flying balls. The report also highlights the potential for a direct attack. So the problem is, what exactly is the AI judge who digested the word? The president did not disclose details. But 2 years ago, he also said that the government is not going to take any action against the government. The game is played in a tennis court, and the player can choose to play in a tennis court. The court has not yet decided whether the case is being handled by the judge. The first time I saw ball, I was in the middle of a game. The player's fingers or other parts of the body may be touched. Sometimes, the referee needs to go back and forth to determine the rules of the ball. The match was a mid-season one. But if AI systems do intervene automatically, the world will be devastated. The court's decision to dismiss the case is based on a simple and accurate assessment. The contest is open to all participants. The first time the team played a match in the tournament was in the middle of the night. Not only in Myanmar, but also in Myanmar, there are fewer mistakes. The new technology is being developed in the country and is being developed in the future. In addition to tennis, the football system is also available on the football field. The video is also being re-released and is being used to communicate with the media. The court's decision to dismiss the case was based on a preliminary ruling by the judge. The contest is fair. The NBA is a game. It is not difficult to build a similar technology. The only thing they need is to send more photos and displays. The system is optical and adaptive. The video is a video of the game's events, and the video is a video of the game's events. Not only did the fans get a little nervous about the NBA referee's visit, but they also got a little nervous about the referee's visit. The AI referee has even invented AI-based steps detection. This is the first time that a person has ever been in a relationship with a woman. The game is played by a team of players who have a chance to score goals. The video was posted on Facebook. The first step is to determine if the person is walking. The website is a free and open source website. The first is computer vision, which is the principle behind the computer vision. He was shot and killed in the attack. If the NBA introduced this system, it would be a good idea to get rid of the NBA. They're finished. The NBA referee is not a good fit in some cases. This is a ball. LeBron takes the ball to the front of the field. The first time I saw the ball, I was in a coma and I was in a coma. I'm going to be here for an hour. The defense and the audience were divided to report to the judge. The last one did not respond. This is a very important step in the right direction. The boat ball in Haddon, Shuhu Street. From the street ball to the last addiction. The Dragon's 8 steps is live. The court did not rule this time. The fans on the pitch didn't even notice. What is the meaning of this? If the AI judge makes a step-by-step ruling in the courtroom, the question is whether B is greater than D or D is greater than B. The first is that the food is not a good thing, but a good thing is that it is a good thing that the food is a good thing. There is a way to do this. The star's main meal is to jump up and down the active ladder. The first is that the body can affect the body. The first time I saw the video was in the video, and I was surprised to see the video. The game is a free-to-play game, and the game is played with a number of different players. The NBA is quickly using similar devices to three-dimensional sensors to build an athlete's model. The player's body is actively touching the player's body. How much contact is there? The first time I saw a woman in the country, I was in a coma. This is absolutely possible. The first level of alert is that AI can make contact with the atmosphere while blowing the whistle. The first is the ball of the world and the second is the ball of the world. The judge can decide the case by dividing it. For example, the cancellation of the French football retrial is not a crime. The government has also been able to launch a direct attack on the people who are seeking asylum. If this is done, the problem is that the stress is not just great. The first is that the body is not a body, but a body. The NBA has been a huge success in bringing heir to justice. The first is that the government is not a political party. The law is based on the rule of law. Some subjective factors are involved. The game was played in a single match. The video was posted on Twitter and posted on Twitter. Even if AI could completely replace judgment in the future, the new rules will also help to reduce the cost of running the league. The first is that the number of people who are currently burning silver can reach $1 million in full-color income. But everything has two sides. The biggest advantage of AI referee is its biggest drawback. The government has also been criticized for its lack of transparency. The first is that the so-called ball type is actually objective. NBA needs stars to bring in the flow. So whether it's for the benefit of the union or the arbitrator's subjective behavior, the game is about the need for some superstars based on the stars. Of course, like the mountains of Arusha, the transition to the bottom line is definitely not possible. The AU is not a country that is not a country that is a democracy. Who wants to see the players of the water-powered machine play in the game? NBA is essentially a commercial show. The focus is on the show. The reason we watch the NBA is because the game brings passion and heat. We look forward to seeing Professor Bakshi's light. The last one is the one that the professor points to. The AI referee will not change the penalty rate due to the progress and the status of the match. The NBA has a long history of being the most famous camera in history. The last moment of the final of the 98th General Final. The bridge will be closed after the player, Rosalind Huang, is killed. The last of the suit is a live-action movie. But objectively, the first time the company was founded in the United States, it was founded in the United States in the year of its founding. Can you imagine the ball being pushed by an AI referee to attack the country? The message of the god of football is not effective. After this, the competition is likely to have a reciprocal effect. The series is a drag-and-drop machine. The bridge bill may be a measure for a second triple link. There will be no second retirement. The NBA's progress estimates will also change. The first time I saw a ball like this, I started to say that it was no longer a few. The first episode of the series was the Shadow Wars in the 18-90 season. If KD is punished for borrowing the last minute, the famous judge of Haddon may not have been there later. The first season of the show is set to air on January 18. The Grey Wolf class held a one-day competition. The microscope was dead before it was a third of its length. The police have also been accused of hiding the illegal activities in the backyard. The second is for the NBA. Real arbitration has meaning. I don't know if anyone noticed. The last 2 seasons and the estimated expatriation funds. More and more people are coming. But sometimes, women's guesswork will continue to sustain WNBA. So the appearance is very small. How much will affect the feeling and fluency of the competition? So why is the federation still insisting on female guessing? The first is that the country is not a country. What is the meaning of this? The planet is rare. The same goes for the so-called mission. The current season of the competition. The first is that the government has not yet taken any steps to resolve the issue. The league is trying to boost viewership of the series. The problem is that the world is not a country. In some cases, the punishment is used to help the side of the situation that is in the wind. The series is only for a longer run. The first is the sweetness. The league has won 5 times in the season so far. The story of the first day of the war. The first is the special mission. AA is not working. So, what is the meaning of this? The goal is to make AI a complete substitute for arbitration. The video is not available. The NBA is not in the best interests of the NBA. The most likely way to do this is to get a job. The game is a bit like football. The first is to allow high tech to be used as a real-life arbitrator. The final decision is in the hands of humans. So even though weigh-in is very common on football pitches, he is now a popular figure in the world of football. The first is that the government is not going to be able to handle the situation properly. The team is not going to be able to do this, and if the team's jerseys are going to be like this in the future, then it will be a good thing. I'm not just a fan of the show. The players themselves may not be willing to do so. So how do you think AI judges are going to look at this? I'm glad you are here. The first is that the internet is not a place for research. We are being discouraged. See you next time.